Fair enough. There are a lot of quality of life improvements coming in 9.15. A lot of people are excited about those things, but a lot of people are expressing frustration that they didn't happen sooner. Do you think there's something in the feedback loop that Blizzard can improve? Absolutely. We can always do better at listening to feedback. We can also do better at communicating that we've heard feedback, but aren't necessarily acting on it for whatever reason, or taking it under advisement and keeping an eye on it. This is feedback that, as the community pointed out, we've heard on many fronts going back to beta. In some areas, we were wrong. The community said, hey, we think that conduit energy is going to be this frustrating system and it's not going to have the effects you hope it has. Our intent was similar to classic WoW respec costs. That it would be friction that made you take these choices more seriously.
This should be good.
But not ultimately lock you in permanently.
Here we go.
In practice, it ended up just being something that players chafed against. We heard that from them and should have changed our minds sooner. Yeah.
Go on, preach. Go on, preach.
In other areas, it's about watching the mainstream of the WoW player base. The broad range of the player base evolve, watching how they're playing the game.
Dude, listen, here's a very interesting thing that people do subconsciously. Like, look at this. Look at Preach's body language in this segment. Like, seriously, look.
Change our minds sooner.
Look, it's building up. Yeah. It's building up.
You really should.
No, look. No, listen. He puts up a fist. He's like, and now watch. Watch, because from here he's going to go into, like, watch.
In other areas, it's about watching the mainstream of the WoW player base.
Look!
The broad range of the player base evolve,
you see what I mean? Look at that body language. Holy shit. Dude, he's fucking fuming.
What we hear from more than just folks who are content creators or high-end raiders or PvPers, who we know have a specific playstyle. But one of the challenges in designing WoW is there's dozens of different playstyles. Many of them are not so vocally or prominently represented. So what we hear from people who are trying to do high-end raiding and also push with keystones, having to choose one covenant and not being able to use the two freely for these systems was frustrating. We understood that. It wasn't surprising to us. We knew that if your orientation of the game, if you're a min-max player, you're going to want to always be optimal.
Oh my god, dude.
It's not about that. It's never about that. I mean, for some people it was about that, but it was never about that. Making me angry. But as we articulated, the goal of the design team was that the core RPG choice... please play RPGs on the WoW team. I beg of you, because it's not this.
Yes!
That feeling of a weighty decision, of picking the path versus that path, and having a different
there was
story
no weight to that decision.
Was going to provide a better experience for a majority of players.
Dude, even the music is building up to it. Like, listen to the music going on in the background. He's about to fucking pop off, dude.
Over time, what we continued to hear was, even those who initially appreciated that choice, that diversity of experience months into the game down the line, once they played through those stories, once they'd seen it, particularly on alts, they just wanted to play whatever they wanted to play. There's to place it there. Oh, that really hurts, Ian. It does, man. That really fucking hurts. Look, first fucking hell, man. First of all, RPGs have, like, barely ever worked with like that, okay? They really don't. Like, play one, man. I know you have. Like, play one. They don't work that way. And in the last 5 years, they've moved even further away from that. To the point where they let you play whatever the fuck you want all the fucking time with no fucking respec costs at all. You know why? Because it's really fun. It's really, really fun to be like, I wonder if that's good. I'll let the player go and fucking try it out for 20 minutes. And he might not like it. So you can swap back really fucking quickly. Because it's fine. I just want to check it out. I just want to enjoy myself. That's all. I just want to fucking play it. No RPGs have really worked like this since, like, fucking point-and-click adventure stories back in the day. There's been a couple, like, frigging Star Wars or whatever, but they gave you, like, 6 or 7 different characters that you could also play, and you could spec them in any way you wanted them. So if your main character was Scuff Mackenzie, you could just go and play the other character at the same time, and you could play that character, and it's fine, and you could do all of those fucking things every single goddamn time if you want to do that. The Covenant thing was not about min-maxers. Sure, it was for some guys who were like, well, but you know what the min-maxers did? You know what they did? They just said, I'll make 4 fucking characters. That's what the min-maxers did, because they don't give a shit about the story in any way, shape, or form. You know what it was really about? Is you, after years and years, gave us, every single class, 4 brand new fucking spells to play with. We haven't had a talent row since, I don't know, since I had fucking no hair. I haven't seen a talent row since then. So you gave us 4 brand new spells, and then you said you could only use 1. It's the most exciting part of any fucking expansion, is when the new talent row and the new class spells come in, is I want to try them out. And then you said, but you can only play one.
Jesus Christ.
That's not min-maxing. That's just I want to have some fun. And then you said, oh, but some of them blatantly don't work in various different parts of the game. They don't even work if you respec. You took Enhancement Shaman and you were like, well, here's your one spell. Everything else is for fucking Ellie and Resto. And then we're like, well, and then there's some fucking Tommy Two Fingers is like, well, I like to play both. Well, fuck you. Because it's important to us that you can't play what you want to play.
It's true.
Isn't this fun? Isn't this meaty? Isn't this enjoyable for you? Well,
it was the same thing for me. Because it was like, I basically had to choose, hey, you want your paladin to be excellent at Mythic Plus or excellent at Wraithing? You can't have both. It was literally the same thing. You want it to be excellent for Mythic Plus or you want it to be excellent for Wraithing? If you want it to be excellent for Wraithing, go Venthyr. If you want to be excellent for Mythic Plus, go Bastion. And don't even bother with any of the other ones. And I was like, dude. Yeah. It's exactly like he's saying. It fucking sucks.
We'll fix it later. It was never about min-maxing. Never. You just said we weren't allowed to play with the new toys. You gave us a Lego shop and said you're only allowed to play with one bit. And if you want to play with the other bit, come back tomorrow doing something different. Never about that, man. And I told you this stuff.
You can see that it's not just rage that is motivating him, though, which it makes me a bit sad. Because, like, deep down, Preach, like a lot of other WoW players, he just wants to fucking enjoy the game. And he can't.
Fucking meaningful choice. And God damn it, get some more of that team to play some modern RPGs, for the love of God. I beg of you. Because it's about story choice. All RPGs are like that now. And they have been for like 10 fucking years. They're all like that. Go and play some. For the love of Christ, just play some. I beg of you. RPGs that fuck the player over are not fun. Ugh.
Jesus. So now it's Call of Duty. All right. And Doritos. Oh, look, this one's in Portuguese.
So, 9.15 reflects a shift towards more alt accessibility, more catch-up, more sensitivity, and respect for players' time. I said this at BlizzCon, man. I was there. Trying to look at what sorts of activities are going to be interesting once or twice, but maybe less interesting when you have to do them more than that. Let's not make you do them more than that. Versus which activities are part of that core repeatable loop, like running dungeons or PvP at max level. Things people want to get into without as many hurdles that they have to clear in the way. That sort of approach is going to motivate how we approach our next patch in Shadowlands, which we'll talk about in the not too distant future, and expansions to follow. I mean, on this one, as scummy and as simpy as it sounds, just listen to Yoshi P for 5 minutes. We don't need to play World of Warcraft every fucking day. I mean, if Sir Bobby is telling you need to have everybody logged in every day, tell him to go and fuck himself. A subscription is the same whether you're logged in or not. Let us log in and have fun whenever the fuck you want to log in and have some fun. Okay?
Exactly. Literally the reason I stopped playing the fucking game. It's because I couldn't just log in and do Mythic Plus and rating. It's the only two things I cared about. It's the only two things I wanted to do. But nope. You have to eat your vegetables first. You have to go do the mod dailies, the whatever, the Torghast, the fucking world quests, your emissaries, all this other fucking bullshit, in order to then be able to spend like a little bit of time doing Mythic Plus and rating, which was literally the only thing I gave a shit about in that fucking game, dude.
For all employees,
oh God, go and play Divinity 2. Talking about community requests and maybe stubbornness, is something like cross-faction raiding a bit more on the radar as a possibility these days? I'd say it's a bit more on the radar, yes. Oh God, how low are the sub numbers? Oh, that's not good.
If only I could be so
That's
grossly
grim. That's
incandescent.
probably really grim.
Monday Plays, thank you very much for becoming grossly
Oh, that's
incandescent.
really
Tip of the hat.
upsetting.
Appreciate
I'm not even
support.
joking. That's really fucking sad.
I said as much. I said as much about the player numbers. I said, didn't I say it was about lower than 1 million players? I think that's what I said in my video. I think I said that in that one video that I did. Give me a second. I'm actually curious now. Because I remember that Bellular was doing the math, and I went a little bit above and beyond with some deductions that I was making based around the shit that was happening to Blizzard back then. And I remember that video has like an orc face. It has Thrall's face on it. Here. Less than 1 million. Yeah, I thought it had less than 1 million. I thought that after watching Bellular's video, I believe that World of Warcraft at that time had less than 1 million. And considering that things have only gotten worse, I would not be surprised if less than 1 million is what we're looking at.
Has it happened? That makes me really fucking sad.
Yeah.
That's one of those areas where a lot of things to solve, a lot of things to figure out to make it happen. But at the end of the day, if Jaina and Thrall are working alongside each other in the raid, it's a nice spin on it. Why can't Alliance and Horde players also work alongside each other in that raid? Especially when we know it's going to solve a lot of the social problems people are grappling with. Particularly trying to keep a high-end Alliance guild together in North America or Horde one in Oceania. Yeah, what the fuck, Australia? Why are you playing Alliance? Get your shit together, will you?
Why do you play Horde,
9.2
Preach?
a bit.
Why don't you like Dwarves, Preach? What the fuck?
Get your shit together, man.
Hey!
You guys over in
That sounded really directed at me. Like, what the fuck?
Oceania need to get your head and your asses wired together, I swear to God. It talks about 9.2 a bit, but beyond that, should we expect a 2.5 or a 0.3 for this expansion? So, oh God. Oh, well, 9.2 and then looking for the next thing. We'll be talking a bit more about the conclusion to Shadowlands in more detail in the future. Yes, 9.2 is coming. You'll be hearing about that more soon. Please be good, man. We do have more planned after that, but it's hard to say too much more without almost spoiling some of the story that's going to come. We'll have a lot of details on that soon, but we want to be able to explain it in the full context of what 9.2 is. Oh, I mean, fucking hell, Neo. 9.3? 2.5? Fucking hell. I know people think, like, okay, this is important because I know there are people out there who are like, just kill Shadowlands and go on to the next thing. Unless there is, I mean, you can have the theory that they have been working on the next expansion since like 6 months ago. But that is highly unlikely to be the case. Highly unlikely to be the case. What you don't want is another a completely rushed out expansion.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not going to fix it. Like,
See, this is why I said, and this isn't, by the way, what I'm about to say is never in a million years going to happen. But what I said when we were talking about this last time, where I was like, okay, you guys know what World of Warcraft could do that would actually be a really positive thing? Seriously? Stop the sub. No joke. They're never going to do it, but stopping the sub until they fix the game, that would garner so much goodwill from the player base. Just go like, hey, if you've ever had a World of Warcraft subscription, you can play it for free for a couple of months until we fix the game. Like, seriously, just stop the sub. Stop charging people money, because that is just like constantly, people get more and more aggravated over the fact that they're giving you money and they're not getting content, and the game is fucking fundamentally broken. You know? Yeah, I know, Tread, and yeah, I know. All memes aside, though, like, really think about it. I think that could be something that could garner a lot of goodwill from the players. Just don't charge a sub. Your game's fundamentally busted. Don't charge a sub. Fix your shit. and then come back and be like, okay, we fixed the game. The game is actively good now. Now we're going to put the sub back on.
Just rushing out the next thing in order to get people back is not going to fix it. I know people would be like, just scrap Shadowlands and go on, because Shadowlands should be good, man. It should be so fucking good. Oh, it should be so good. But rushing out an expansion just to get rid of Shadowlands. I mean, all you're doing is you're putting carpet over the cat shit and hoping it won't stink. You know, that's literally all you're doing, is you're just putting carpet over the cat shit and just hoping it won't stink. That's what you're hoping for. You just, I mean, for all we know, they're pulling Squeenix. They could be, because we know it happens, where they've been like, okay, we fucked this up massively. Oh shit. And literally most of the team has been working on 10.0. That's copium. But I mean, it might be true.
I was about to say that's copium.
It might be true for all we know.
That's some serious fucking
They might have been
copium.
doing that. I know that isn't making a copium. I'm fully aware of that. It's possible though. It's been done before. It has been done before. That may be the case. And they were like, okay. I mean, they must have been doing something for the last year, right? I'm not just redoing the fucking maze
WoW 2
tower.
copium, Terra
They've been
copium,
doing something.
copium.
This has been the
Pepe Laugh
longest
copium.
patch cycle of all fucking time. They've got to have been doing something. Why do I still have this goddamn hope, man?
Wait, he actually put a copium thing in his...
So frustrating. Why did you even ask me about World of Warcraft, man? I just end up so frustrated and angry. All I want is Y'shtola back. So glad I don't make content for WoW anymore. We've seen the story and setting for Warcraft get bigger and more cosmic. Some people like that and some people don't. We're here now. We're pushing through. We're pushing fucking through, man. But I guess I wonder, is it possible to go back? Or is the genie out of the bottle as far as the size and scope of what we're fighting? I don't think so, no. That's definitely feedback we hear as well. There are some who like that escalation. We've faced the Titans. What comes next? Let's go through the whole cosmology. There are others who'd miss just being in an inn in Elwyn Forest, being an adventure on a more humble scale. At this point, they do. They do.
I'm surprised. Like, this thing is really accurate. Like, this is really fucking well done. Whoever made that is really fucking, like, I'm impressed. Because a lot of the times when you see these things, the tracking fucking blows and has all these problems. Like, Preach's one is fucking outstanding, dude.
They do.
Look at that shit.
They really do. You know what you could do? You could make a really cool crafting system for those guys. Samuel Tallies are the bread and butter of RPGs. Not everybody likes gaming. Not everybody likes fucking high endings shit. You've got to have your Samuel Tallies, because they're the real fucking heroes, man. At this point, the WoW protagonists are heroes. You've done a lot of stuff. They'll probably never go back to being the anonymous adventurers in the forest champions. But Azeroth is the heart of the WoW franchise. And it started with orcs and humans, and dwarves and night elves and the rest. We want to get back to that too. There's room to tell a big cosmic scale story, and there's also room for more traditional core fantasy. Are you going to show me a picture of N'Zoth? That is not something we want to lose sight of. Even going all the way back, this isn't necessarily something new. The first expansion for WoW was going to Outland. We had the Draenei coming in effectively spaceships and landing on Azeroth. There was a lot of cosmic stuff there. But we want...
Tredian, what's copium? It's when somebody is coping so hard. You know, to cope with something. You know, like, what the meaning is cope. To cope with something. Copium is just like they're coping so hard that they're sniffing it like a drug. That's what copium is.
I'm muting you.
Good King Moogle Mog.
I'm muting you.
Good King
Chris,
Moogle,
this is
good
not
King
the fucking
Mog.
time, man. No. Bad. No. Even going all the way back, this isn't necessarily something new. Yeah, if something we think about when we're planning expansions as well, we maybe alternate between something that's more traditional and terrestrial and then something that's higher concept. I don't think the space stuff... Outland's kind of an outlier. I don't know, some people probably liked Argus. I didn't particularly. I mean, the Burning Crusade is so good, but on the side of it, it was also the first WoW expansion, and it changed so much good for the game, especially after WoW. I'm trying to think what like zones I've enjoyed the most. They've never been the cosmic ones, really. Like for me, zone-wise, like in an overall view, like Wrath of the Lich King, I think was the best.
Yes! Yes!
For like an overall view.
Yes! Wrath of the Lich King, a million times
the
yes!
Walls of Ice Crown.
Dude,
Yeah, you went from like
to me, it was, what was that first zone called that you would land in? There was two of them. There was Borean Thunder and Howling Fjord. Dude, Howling Fjord is the best zone in the entirety of World of Warcraft. And if you disagree with that, you can suck my dick. It's that simple. It's that simple. Actually, no, you can't even suck my dick if you disagree with that. You're not even worthy. You can kiss my ass.
Grizzly Hills into, I forget the name of the dragon area in the middle, but then you had that wonderful Sholazar Basin, was it called? You had that, and then you had the Highlands, and then you had the Storm Peaks. Like
Storm Peaks also
overall
amazing.
Package, reasonably grounded, right? Like it was. Wrath was just like reasonably grounded. This patch is adding Legion time walking. We're getting Mage Towers back. Is the team thinking more about ways to bring back old content? It's something that we're slowly working our way toward. Good. There's a tremendous amount of content that needs to be, in many cases, manually retouched and updated to work this way. Things that I've done over the years, like
Listen, guys, just listen to this for a second. Takes you right fucking back, doesn't it? That's right. That's right. Now, mind you, while that's nostalgic and amazing, as Kagran points out, it's nowhere close to this. This is way better, right? That one just hits you in the nostalgia, but this one's just fucking good. Oh, and by the way, did you guys know that music, Along Fall, has gotten copyright trolled on Twitch? So now people who troll for copyright and do copyright claims, they'll claim that music if you stream it. So this video is probably going to get claimed.
adding scaling to the old content so that even now you can level from 10 to 50 in any of the expansions instead of having a fixed linear path where you have to level all of them piecemeal. Things like time walking. These are vehicles and steps that move us closer to a world where we can make better use of all that we've built and suits our story. We're not there yet, but we want to keep expanding those efforts, pulling more raids into our time walking system. A lot of discussions about what outdoor world time walking might look like, and whether there are periods where all the exciting stuff that will make you want to return to Pandemic.
God damn, dude. These ads hit like, dude, like a fucking baseball bat to the forehead. Smack! Jesus. Like a foghorn to the ears.
Or Draenor. As we've seen, when a specific storyline does tie into an old area, we will send you back to High Mountain or Val Shirai in Legion to play through a modern questline set in an old area. Needs a lot of work, that, but... I mean, the amount of wasted content in World of Warcraft is practically unbearable. Unbearable. Like, the amount of wasted potential. Do you remember when there was that big dagger in the planet? Whatever happened to that? You mentioned earlier that the game's almost 17 years old now. Is there a point where it's just too old, and too many story threads, too many systems, and a reboot becomes too enticing to ignore? I don't think so. We're always thinking about what is the future of WoW. Not just a year or two from now, but 5 or 10 years. Within this world, there are plenty of stories we still have to tell, places to visit, and improvements to make. We want to learn lessons and keep building on these foundations. In a lot of ways, having that 17 years of content is a huge strength. It's an incomparable strength. We also need to be mindful of managing the overall bloat in our systems. That's kind of what some of the efforts we did in Shadowlands, like squishing and streamlining leveling, so a new player coming aboard can play through the modern starting experience, play through Battle for Azeroth, and jump right into Shadowlands, rather than being overwhelmed by 120 levels and a whirlwind tour of 15 years worth of content, much of which is old. But even as somebody's doing that right now in another game, it's really fun. Once, I wouldn't do it again.
Like I said, old does not mean bad.
But even as we curate and maintain what that experience is, we have this wealth to draw upon, and our intent is to keep evolving upon those foundations. We'll remove some parts that are old and crusty. We'll add a lot of exciting new ones, but there are millions of folks who are excited to play WoW, and we'll keep supporting it for as long as that's the case. Was that the end?
Yeah.
No, page 2? That's an odd ending point.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, that was a whirlwind. Yeah, FF is totally different. They're not comparable in how they're working right now. I agree. I agree. They're not a good comparison. Although it would be nice to, I mean, there is a part of me that would like to know the WoW story done in a streamlined manner throughout the years. That would be interesting. That was the most angry and upset I've been about anything in ages. I guess there's still some latent feelings there.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be some latent feelings for a good long while.
Issues I've got with World of Warcraft. Oh, man. It makes me... I'm just so frustrated, and I think we all feel that, right? We're just so frustrated. Because I feel like I've read this interview like 7 or 8 times at this point, man. Like I say, I like Ian. I like him a lot, man. He's great to talk to, but... It just feels like they just keep walking the same road. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I mean, this last paragraph where they're talking about the systems and stuff, it feels like they think Shadowlands is still like pretty reduced in systems, but I mean it's just not, right?
Exactly.
You enjoy WoW? There's nothing wrong with enjoying WoW, man. Just because, you know what I mean? I really am happy that people are getting the stuff in 9.15. I genuinely am. I'm just frustrated from where I sit. And seeing it, yeah, remember. I mean, just try and bear in mind that I was doing the feedback loop for Blizz not for Blizz, but for myself, obviously. But for like 9 years, and just seeing it constantly just be like ignored, or we don't believe you, then fail massively, then get changed, and then do the whole cycle over and over again. And that level of constant revolving frustration of reaching point 3 or whatever, finally getting somewhere reasonably decent, and then starting again, almost to the point where you start to almost believe in the tinfoil hat theories. It's like, oh, I think they intentionally make the game bad in the 0.0 patch so that they can look good fixing it later, right? You start to almost believe this ridiculous idea, because it is utterly ridiculous, and you've got to keep yourself grounded. It's like, no, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, there is no company in the world who's giving themselves a bad product to fix later intentionally, instead of just making a good product and making it better, right? It's an utterly ludicrous standpoint to have, but you start to believe that shit because you just see it happening over and over again, and you're like, what is happening? Why is this happening over and over again? But I could tell, all I could say to you is, having sat face to face and had these conversations, there's a genuine belief that what they're doing a lot of times is for the best,
because they're rock
and you
stars.
can sit there all you want, as I have, and gone, yeah, but like, this is clearly a problem, right? I mean, it's obviously a problem, and it's about perspectives about what they think they're doing versus what they're actually doing. And you see that's why I got so angry with the Covenant thing, is all the outrage that came from people like myself about Covenants. I believe internally they were like, yeah, of course Mike's pissed about that because he's Mr. High-End Raider, and we expected the high-end Raiders to not like this. But the not as vocal casual player base is gonna love this. So we are fully expecting Mike and fucking Max and Scripe and Co to really dislike this. But we knew that, so that's ignorable. We can ignore that because they have already thought of what I'm going to say and determined that that's a higher end issue. And we're 1% of the player base, as everyone likes to point out, which I think is even way less than that. It's like 0.3 or something. And just said, right, well, that goes in that box. And we can put a lid on that box because we know we're making it for these guys who aren't telling us about these things. Right? And I think that's the biggest problem they've had, is just compartmentalizing issues to say high-end. Almost like a sorter of coins, right? A coin sorter. Like, all this flood of feedback comes and it just gets diverted off. High-end issue, high-end issue, high-end issue. And what it's not doing is saying, well, actually, this is like an everybody issue. It's not doing that. It's just blocking off those other 4 and going into the one slot and just saying, well, that's one of those issues. That's fine. And then this is, transmog. That's a casual issue. No, we're all playing all the same thing all the time. And as I pointed out earlier, the Covenant thing was never about min-maxing. Like, we knew you were going to fuck it up from the start, right? The min-maxers, this is the irony of it all, is the people who do min-max this game knew you were fucked. From day one of announcing it, we just knew and accepted that you would fuck it up. And I'm not saying that because of your incompetence. We're saying that because you have never, ever, a single time been able to get that right. Balance-wise, you've never...
I'm saying it because of their incompetence. If you don't want to say it, I will. You're incompetent at balancing your video game. You're more than incompetent at balancing your video game. You're downright fucking terrible. There, I said it.
Never been able to get that right. And we accept that, as stupid as that is. As ridiculous as that is. Like, it's such
Remember the Josh Tri-Face conversation?
Point of view is that we know you are going to fuck this up.
Yep.
So we accept to move around it. We'll have 4 warlocks then, because you're guaranteed to fuck this up. So we accept that and move on. In fact, the people who cared the least are like the min-maxers, because we knew it was broken during the announcement at Blizzard before we saw the game at BlizzCon. We were like, yeah, you're gonna fuck this up. Okay, so what's our workaround? That's our thought process. Is you're gonna screw this up. How do we get around it? We make 4 characters. Done. We're sorted. We're just accepting that, and we're going to start doing that in the beta and the alpha. And then as soon as it's live, we're just going to multi-box or do whatever and just make 4 characters. The real people who got fucked were the casual players, like, for the most part, because they were like, okay, well, I just can't play with the things I want to play with. And there are definitely parts of the community that are like, well, I picked my Covenant or whatever it might be in fucking beta, and I'm just going to go with that. And then next patch, it gets fucked and run into the ground, and it's like, well, great.
Which they did.
What am I going to do? My character is now screwed because you screwed it. Nothing to do with me at all.
And even though they did that, they said they gave players assurances, we're not going to do that, okay? Everything's going to be balanced from the start, and we're not going to be making sweeping changes. And then like 1 or 2 months later, it's like, well, actually, we lied. We're going to be making sweeping changes. Fuck you.
And then you made it a pain in the ass to swap over. And then you gave me a fucking anima upgrade system that I might have spent months investing ludicrous amounts of time into, which then just gets restarted. GG's. Why is this fun? Why is it fun? Yeah, you've made it easy for me to swap over, kind of. But then all the progress I made over there is now just destroyed. So... Why would I be interested in this path? And not only that, your fucking story
so grossly incandescent.
doesn't even back this situation up.
Good day to you all.
Yeah.
It's so contrived.
Yeah, it is. Homeless Grey Cat, thank you very much for being grossing
Your
us for
entire
46
game
months.
doesn't
Tip of the
back
hat.
up the system that
Appreciate
you're
support.
forcing on
Thank
the
you.
players. From day fucking 1.
No, Preach, you don't understand. It's the one where gameplay above everything, whatever their one value. There you go. They're implementing that, gameplay, Trump, story, and everything else when it suits them.
It's so contrived. It makes no sense. We're all best pals, but you are not coming in. You built the seat of the Primus. You opened the doors for us, champion. Now fuck off, because you're not coming inside. Yeah, you opened the doors, but you're not coming inside. Get out of here. Thank you very much for opening up and unleashing the Primus on us. Now piss off and stay the fuck away from our door. All right? You're not coming in.
Yeah.
What are we playing here? What are we doing, dude? RPG meaningful choice, whatever. Fucking hell. Oh, I'm pissed.
Oh, look at Final Fantasy in the background.
Pissed. Pissed! Yeah, I think we can play some Heavens.
Preacher's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going back to Eorzea. Fuck y'all. Preacher's just like, I'm going back to Eorzea. Fuck this shit. Yeah, Preach.
Give in to the anger. I'm so frustrated.
Yeah, dude.
But
Let's
even
go
after
back to
all this
Eorzea.
rage, dude, I would more than happy, along with several others who don't do this anymore, happily come and fucking
His character looks so fucking amazing.
help in some way. Because it can be better.
Oh, man.
It
What
can be
level is
better.
he? Oh, I couldn't see the level.
Cryptomatic, Notion Kitty. Because I would
56,
rather have
okay.
more MMOs to play. Yeah, I'm
Probably
going
in
for a piss.
Heavensward, right?
I'm so fucking pissed off.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's Preach's take on that. And yeah, I figured it'd be something along those lines. It is what it is. Needs to lower his blood pressure. It's just too much passion, dude. We're like, you need to understand, World of Warcraft players who've played a significant amount of time of World of Warcraft, we are very passionate about this game. It's just that simple. It's just that simple, dude. It is what it is.